working. I mean, I've taken a screwdriver while it was still up. I squirted a little grease on there, and I've moved this shoe up and down, and so I know this one is still working. This one I just need to slide it out. It's really pretty simple because it just pops up and slides. Something you want to make sure you hold on to is this little clip. I can't remember, the clips go for about 50 cents. And you need to take that off because you're going to use that. It'll clip on to the back of this piece. If you can see right here how it's clipped on. And that's what we're going to need to do. So I'm going to go ahead and just pull this thing out. This is what this one looks like. You can see that the string is broken. The spring is still good. I actually just replaced one where the spring was broken in half. So, and then another one where the string was broken. These get a little bit tricky. I mean, honestly, I tried replacing the shoes, the pieces that came down in here. It's easier to just get the New Balance. It costs us like $10 and we can replace that. So I'm going to go ahead and try to take this thing off. And because I got to save that piece, and I'm going to put that on to the good balance. And here's the good balance. This is what the good balance looks like. You have two pieces, or you'll have two different colors when it comes to these Craftline. There's a white one which is a little lower tension, and then this is a black one which gives a little bit higher tension. I don't know that much about it. You can see the spring, the nylon string that's there, and of course on this it's a 20-incher that I'm using, and that's what I'm replacing. So you can see that right there. And I'm just going to pop this clip back on. So I've got it in place. Make sure I get it on the right way, which I'm not doing right now. You can see, I don't know if you can see that little clip, but there's like a little bubble. Can you see that bubble? Right there. That's actually going to clip onto this metal piece. The other end doesn't have the bubble. That's going to slide over that vinyl. So I've got to make sure that I get this bubbled piece up in here, which I started to do wrong, caught myself doing. So I'm just going to pop it right up in there. And now it's in place. And this is the new one. So what I'm going to do now, and this is where it gets a little bit tricky, because I'm going to try to get this piece down into here. Now the key is, if you remember, I took this off. This is what I took off. And the rule of thumb is that when you pop this thing back on, that the razor blade edge, that piece right there, that metal piece, needs to be facing to the inside of the house. Now I just did one. I had to take it apart because I didn't get it that way, and it just didn't work right. So you got to make sure that this is facing to the inside. And of course, when I slide this onto this piece, if you notice, this has to be, I'm going to try to separate that a little bit, it's got to be facing like this. So I'm going to try to get that piece right up in there somehow. I'm just pulling it away a little bit. Be careful, you don't want to get your finger stuck in there because that's going to cut you pretty bad. And then I'm just going to try to slide this piece right down that groove, right down that slot. And it's like a channel, so this piece should just get right in there and slide right down just like that. Now remember, I put this little clip up in here just to remind you, so that when I slide this thing all the way down, I want to make sure that this clip right here is going to slide right over that vinyl, and that's exactly what it should look like when you've got it back in place. Now there's one last step I got to do, and that is, I don't think that this is damaged enough here. If that was really damaged a lot, I might have to replace that. I think it'll still work, so I'm not going to replace this whole vinyl piece. But I still have to take a screwdriver, and I have to take that shoe and slide it down further, because when I pop the window back in, I got to make sure I put the window over that shoe. what I'm going to do is take the screwdriver and just slide it, and slide that shoe down. And I just give it a little turn to see if it locks into place. And right now, I don't know if you see, but it's sort of locking in place. Let me make sure. And it did. And there's the shoe right now, and there's a lot of tension on that. So this is all set to go. I've pulled this one down. There's two sashes here. You'll see this one over in here. This is that back window. You can see this one is down about the same height, because I'm going to pop that back window in. I've already taken some like WD-40. I've sprayed it on these two clips, these two shoes that are in here, and they seem to be moving up and down pretty smooth. So now I'm going to take this vinyl over on this side, and I'm going to pop it in place. Because I have this little ledge right here that acts as a seal for the air coming in, I'm going to start with the bottom first and just slide the bottom down in between, and make sure that I'm in all of the areas where I need to be in, which it looks like I am. And then I'm just going to take my hand and give both of these things a little pop in here, and that should lock that clip in place that I replaced, or that I stuck back in there. Okay? And then I'm going to come back up on this side and pop this in, and that sash is right back in the place where it needs to be. Last thing is, before I even put the windows on, since I'm on the second floor, I'm going to make sure I get the screen back in, and hopefully I do this without dropping it. It's a long way down. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop the lower windows in first. Our house is white, so I've got the white on the outside. And what I'm going to do is make sure I place these on that back rail. If you want to come up and take a close look up here.
I can't get this on.
Yeah, right over here. I'm going to put this in. There's two grooves here. The inner one, that's for the inner window. This back one is for the outer window. I got to make sure I'm over those shoes on both of those. So I'm over both of those shoes. Just tap it down a little bit. And once I get that in place over those shoes, then I can just pop these windows in. Now the Craftline work this way. There's some windows that will have a little slide up in here that you slide up and down, but this you just pop it right in. You can see that that's working pretty darn good right there. It's not falling. It moves up and down pretty easily. And the last thing I'm going to do is get the bottom window. Same thing, I'm going to make sure I get the outside. I've got shoes here, so I got to make sure I'm over those shoes. Slide these into place. After I get them into place, all I got to do is turn it up and pop it up into place. Make sure everything works. And once I get it up in there, then I can lock it and I know everything's good.